Now, SDG&E and local firefighters are preparing for a hot holiday weekend.
In addition to the heat, a red flag warning was just issued for this weekend. I'll pinpoint the critical fire danger and the all-time record highs we could set.
And rideshare drivers coming together for a rally over what's becoming a polarizing ballot measure. ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
Yeah, and welcome this midday. Great to have you with us. I'm Jim Patton. I'm joined remotely by my co-anchor Virginia Cha and 10 News meteorologist Megan Perry. Great to see you both, and we'll be with you very shortly. We're going to get right to Megan, actually, as we talk about this three-day weekend, Megan, and just how hot it's going to be this weekend.
Oh man, it's already toasty outside. I walked my dogs and we took them for a short walk today, but it's probably the only walk we're really going to get in this weekend because it is going to be exceptionally hot tomorrow and Sunday. Hottest temperatures of the year. For some areas, potentially the hottest temperatures of all time on record. We're already in the 90s for Ramona, Alpine, and in Julian, near 90 in Poway. If you're along the coast, enjoy your last comfortable day. We'll be in the 70s and 80s there. That excessive heat warning inland to the mountains and deserts is in effect now until Labor Day. The coast, you're going to join us starting on tomorrow at 10 a.m. Temperatures will be soaring into the 90s and triple digits for most of the county this weekend. And just within the last 30 minutes or so, a red flag warning was issued from the National Weather Service that will be in effect tomorrow and Sunday for the exceptionally hot temperatures, in addition to the Santa Ana winds, an early Santa Ana wind event, gusts up to about 35 miles per hour, humidity down to 10%, and dry brush leading to critical fire conditions. And some of the all-time record highs I think we're going to get awfully close to include Poway and Alpine, Campo, and by Borrego Springs by Monday, we'll be getting awfully close. Jim?
All right, Megan, thank you very much. And with that heat wave, the governor hoping to avoid energy problems that popped up earlier in the summer. Newsom signing an emergency proclamation that suspends some permitting requirements, allowing power plants to generate more energy. Energy companies also doing their part to minimize the impact of blackouts if they do in fact have to be triggered. Now, SDG&E says it's going to do a better job of spreading them out across the county so no one area is more affected than another.
So once you've gone through the first group, say, and then you move to the second group, but after you've exhausted the entire list, you go back to the top.
Meanwhile, the heat also raising some concern among fire officials. Firefighters have been watching as fires in Northern California have burned throughout a record summer, and they say they need the public's help to keep that from happening here in San Diego.
So we certainly want you to do the right thing, but we want you to do the right thing at the right time. And this weekend is not the time to be out with that power equipment trying to clear weeds and chainsaws and things like that.
They say staying safe requires everyone to stay vigilant. Virginia?
Thank you so much, Jim. Well, crowds, of course, expected to gather at local beaches and bays over the weekend as people celebrate Labor Day while trying to beat the heat. But as ABC 10 News reporter Vanessa Paz explains, to stay off the state's watch list, people must abide by county health rules no matter where they're celebrating this weekend.
Even before the sun rose, cars were packing this lot behind me at La Jolla Shores, all to kick off a holiday weekend and what's expected to be some of the hottest days of summer. But city leaders want to emphasize no matter where you're celebrating this weekend, you must still follow CDC guidelines. Labor Day will look different this year as beachgoers add masks to their summer get-ups and secure a spot far enough to stay socially distanced.
We know we can find a spot if we come early.
It's the new norm, but also a way to ensure San Diego stays off the watch list after getting off of it 2 weeks ago. Santee resident Chris Moberly said she hopes everyone will abide by these rules.
I'm sure there are people that push the limits and, but you're responsible for your own health. And I think most people are pretty considerate of other people.
Lifeguards said they won't be regulating when it comes to social distancing or masks.
We're going to be focused on keeping people safe in the water. Social distancing is a shared responsibility.
According to County Supervisor Nathan Fletcher, the status of our county depends on people's actions this weekend. In a presser earlier this week, he said people should avoid any indoor parties and continue to follow all CDC guidelines. To ensure added safety, beaches like Carlsbad will also be handing out masks and teaching visitors about safety guidelines. Now, in addition to COVID restrictions, of course, it's going to be a very hot one. Lifeguards say if you plan on coming to the beach, bring a lot of water and also use caution if you plan to swim in the ocean because, of course, warmer water temperatures mean marine life like stingrays and jellyfish will be closer to shore. Reporting in La Jolla, Vanessa Paz, ABC 10 News.
Supporters of AB5, the new gig law requiring workers to be treated as employees, not independent contractors, hit the road today to get people to vote against Prop 22. ABC 10 News reporter Jared Aarons explains that ballot measure would make companies like Uber and Lyft exempt from the law.
The rideshare lot at Lindbergh Field is pretty much ground zero for the debate between AB5 and Prop 22. Friday morning, the people who support AB5 did a car caravan from here to Lyft headquarters, telling everyone they passed to vote no on 22.
Awesome,
With signs, stickers, and car horns, drivers against Prop 22 hit the road with a message.
When you work with Uber and Lyft, what have they done for drivers over the years?
Tanya Edisval, who's been a driver for 4 years, says she's seen her pay cut, her hours rise, and conditions worsen. That's why she supports AB5 and opposes Prop 22.
They have had years to abide by the law. This isn't something new. You know, that you have to pay your workers a minimum wage isn't new. That you have to have a certain amount of benefits for people isn't anything new.
AB5 turns a 2018 state Supreme Court employment decision into law, giving gig workers more protection. Prop 22 would make rideshare and delivery companies exempt from that law, but add some limited wage protection and health subsidies. Edisval and her supporters say it's not enough, and the fact that Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, and Postmates have donated $110 million to get Prop 22 to pass proves that money isn't the issue.
It strips us of all our rights. We're talking UI, we're talking health benefits, we're talking sick days, family leave. If they win Proposition 22, all those things go out the window.
Not every driver agrees. 10 News spoke to some who say AB5 could take away their independence and ability to be their own boss. In August, Uber and Lyft threatened to shut down in California if a court didn't grant an injunction against AB5 until the November election. That court battle is still going on, with the companies saying if Prop 22 fails, they'll have to shut down for a little while to readjust their businesses to new rules. Edisval calls that a scare tactic to voters.
So it's not just about threatening the drivers anymore, they're actually threatening the passengers by saying that if we have to pay our drivers a fair wage, we're going to shut down operations in all of California. I think it's just a threat tactic.
Part of Friday's car caravan included giving away masks and hand sanitizer to drivers. People in the caravan say Lyft and Uber don't give them these, even though they expect them to sanitize in between every ride. They say it's another example of how the companies put profit over people. At Lindbergh Airfield, Jared Aarons, ABC 10 News.
Happening tomorrow, the San Diego Museum of Art will officially reopen to the general public. Now, the museum has been closed since March. It was scheduled to reopen July 9th, but those plans were scrapped after the county laid out some new guidelines. The museum has made some changes for the reopening. They will operate at limited capacity with temperature checks and social distancing. Everybody must wear a mask. The museum is also thanking frontline workers and first responders by offering them free admission through November 14th. And there are some holiday changes on Monday in observance of Labor Day that you need to know about. So all administrative offices, rec centers, and libraries will be closed. There's also a one-day delay in trash collection, and parking meters, time restrictions on streets, and yellow zones within the city of San Diego will not be enforced. MTS also modifying its schedule. Jim?
Protests in New York overnight, and several officers suspended after video released of a deadly police encounter. And now the mayor of Rochester, New York, saying that She was misled by police for months. ABC's Romina Puga has more.
In late March, Daniel Prude had been in the midst of what his family is calling a mental health episode when his brother called 911 for help. This week, the police body cam footage was released showing Rochester police officers pinning down the naked 41-year-old until he became unresponsive. Prude was pronounced dead in the hospital several days later. The medical examiner called his death a homicide, ruling that he died from complications of asphyxia in the setting of physical restraint, excited delirium, and PCP. With the release of the video, there's now a divide between the mayor and her police chief. Mayor Lovely Warren says Chief LaRon Singletary told her Prude had died from an overdose while in custody. She claims she was not made aware of the officer's actions or the body cam video until last month.
I have addressed with the police chief how deeply and personally and professionally disappointed I am for him failing to fully and accurately inform me about what occurred with Mr. Prude.
The chief disputing the mayor's account, saying he ordered criminal and internal investigations into the incident. The mayor also saying the state attorney general's office asked her to not speak publicly about the case because it would interfere with their ongoing investigation. The mayor's decision to suspend the 7 officers involved with pay came after city council members who felt blindsided by the release of the body cam video sent a letter to the mayor calling on her to step down.
I'm very concerned about all the pieces of the puzzle not being together and being presented to me as a city council member.
Protests continued last night following the news of suspension, leaving 8 protesters arrested and 2 officers hurt, many calling for mental health reform. The mayor says additional funding for mental health assistance is coming, as well as changes to the department's response to mental health calls. In North Carolina, Romina Puga, ABC News.